One of the things I love, Warwick, about these first two things that we're talking about, right? The Charbonnet is saying your worst day is your worst day. And Stacy's saying your crucible can be a gift, is what they did for you. And they empowered you to not only talk about it from your perspective, but to give that same gift to others, is that it gave you permission to grieve your crucible. And it also gave you perspective to not stay there, right? The Charbonnets gave you permission to grieve your crucible. And Stacy's comment gave you the perspective to not stay there. Is that a fair assessment?
It really is, Gary. You know, Stacy's decision to find something positive about what happened. What can be positive about being diagnosed as a quadriplegic after a diving accident? It would seem there's nothing positive about that. But she made that choice because what's the alternative? To spiral into negativity, depression, suicidal ideation. And she was there. As she mentioned, she did have suicidal ideation. So you're going to stay there? Is that how you want to spend the rest of your life? And so, yeah, I mean, I came to realize that I get to do what I want to do, lead my own life. We've lived in the U.S. Since the early 90s. My wife's American. My kids all grew up here. You know, my kids, who are now all adults, they got to chart their own path. There wasn't the, gee, you know, you need to go in the family and media business. And how would I have handled that? I'd like to think, you know, maybe okay, but who's to say? The subtle pressure, and gosh, I don't know that I want to take on all those expectations. Being a Fairfax in Sydney is a bit like being a Rockefeller or a Bush or a Kennedy. Everybody's looking at you. You make one mistake and, you know, it's going to be in the papers. I mean, it's just, the pressure is intense. You've got family rivalries going on. So I got to chart my own path. My kids got to chart their own path. And so, in so many ways, it was a gift. I mean, I wouldn't be here, you know, with the Beyond the Crucible podcast, having conversations with you. I wouldn't have written the book. I wouldn't have been speaking about Beyond the Crucible themes. None of that would have happened. I would have been living somebody else's dream, namely my great-great-grandfather, John Fairfax's dream, in this gilded prison of, you know, a media company. I mean, I can't imagine it would have been a very fun life.